Welcome and thank you as always for tuning into the Offsite Dirt Network. This content is delivered through many social platforms, but you could always come back here for what's coming up next. And speaking of what's next, it's high performance build. I'm joined with Audrey, Joe, Sean, and Adam. Those are the folks that are here with you today. And what we're going to explore is not tricks. It's things that are happening in our daily world, in the buildings that are constructed through many methods. And these are the 5 tips for you to look out for. And starting us off is Joe Konopacki.
Thanks, Mark. One of the tips that I have for folks that are embarking on a high performance build is for them to find an energy advisor, an energy rater to work with. I mean, you can educate yourself and try to figure it all out and hope you got the right contractors and all the rest of that stuff. Or you can shorten your learning curve, flatten your learning curve a bit, and find an energy advisor. You know, if in the States, if you're building an Energy Star house, in fact, that's a great resource. Look for Energy Star Gov, look for an energy rater. Great place to start. Obviously, if you want to go beyond that, you're building passive house. There's a bunch of passive house consultants and designers, passive house tradespeople out there. And the reason is you want to leverage their education for your benefit, right? They've been around, they've worked on a myriad of projects. They might be able to forestall some problems by just looking at a set of plans because they've been around for a while, right? Again, I once heard, learn from the mistakes of others. You won't live long enough to make them all yourself, right? So find a professional to work with, somebody that's done this before, to flatten out your learning curve and improve your chances for success the first time.
I'll jump in there, just finding the right person. That is the most important part when you're finding a high performance passive house builder or factory to build your home. Making sure that if you speak to someone and they start talking about solar, air source heat pumps, and all of that sort of stuff, kick them out of the room and go to your next company. Find the people that want to talk about fabric first. Find the people that are going to build you a home, and then we can look at the technology second. This is my point of view, but that is so important. I don't want to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on technology for a building that doesn't perform well. I want to find someone that's passionate. Windows, triple glazed. I want to make sure the insulation levels are there, the air barriers in there, the weather barrier in there, understanding that a weather barrier is predominantly airtight as well. So you have 2 airtight lines in a building. That would be my number 1 tip on that. Over to you, Sean.
Thank you, my friend. Okay, so energy advisor, find the team. I'm going to give you the tip of creating the plan. So before you even get started on the entire project, you need to have a plan. And then again, with the benefit of working with your team and the energy advisor, you're going to be able to model the particular project you're trying to do. So again, it comes back to, having the end in mind. And so again, is starting off is have a plan, how you want to execute it so that that can be communicated with everybody and ensure that you'll have success because you're going there with a plan. So Audrey, tell us what your hot tip is.
Yeah, so I'm always going to come from the offsite solution. And I think when we're talking about high performance build and we're looking at tips and we're talking about possibly building with a panel system, a high performance panel system that is actually built in a factory. It's always great. Like you were saying, Sean, start with the plan in mind, talk about that offsite solution and why it's important for you to have that. I think the other thing that is something to look into, maybe you are not doing a remodel, maybe you are not doing an existing build, but you're thinking about a new build. There's also the option of building it with modular construction. So it's the same thing, finding those right people, finding the right companies, knowing what your end result is. Are you doing are you getting a LEED certification? Are you really taking it to that higher level of highest performance? Or are you trying to make sure that you have a home that is built that is performing well? So you can always look at those solutions for a panelized system, or you can look as a volumetric or a modular building asset. You just got to have those conversations. And if you're not sure where to find those, you can always Google those types of companies in your area. You always want to start with at least 100 miles from your location. Anything over 500 miles is going to incur a tremendous amount of cost. So those are a few tips from my perspective. Mark?
This is a real setup, folks. We're having the energy advisor, right? We're finding the pros. We're defining our plans. And we're having the offsite solution. So number 5 is on me, and I'm gonna load you up with my 5 category. So whether it's an existing building or it's one that will be constructed, we're meeting that site where it is, and then all the elements come in. Of course, you have convection and conduction, all these thoughts in your head, but slowing that down, there's something that starts and there's something that's finished. And one is the charrette, that's putting all that together, and at the end, it's the commissioning. But you don't wait to the end for that commissioning. That's part of the charrette. And what happened in the charrette at the beginning helps for that commissioning. Those are all these steps that they brought forward together. That's the all-encompassing sphere that keeps that there. So I appreciate these 5 steps. You might have different 5 steps, and we're an open forum, and we love to hear that from you, because as good as we are today, tomorrow is the stepping stone for what we do next. And you're going to find more of that on this network right here. It's called Offsite Dirt. And what will we do next?
Mark, that's so great. I love that you've brought all those things together. And again, I think we're all speaking the same language. One thing to always keep in mind, it's always about your team. And as we have team members here that are lovely to share information with you, high performance build is really about you living in a space that is driving better wellness, health, and the ability to live longer in a home that you so choose and how you build it. So 5 tips, 5 ways to really think about how you're going to design and build. And again, as Mark was saying, charrettes to commission. This is how we look at our projects. Started as a building system and then move forward. And that's it for us. That's the dirt on Offsite Dirt Network. Thanks for being here.